Peace, 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 peace. My name is Livy M. Green. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to let you know that I'm still brand new to this. And so if I'm not totally not focused on the camera as much as I should be, or looking away or to the wrong side, please pardon me in advance, okay? Today I want to talk about something different than I normally talk about, though. As many of y'all may know, I am a caregiver, and it has given me the good fortune of being able to meet all kinds of incredible people that I otherwise may have never crossed paths with. And I'm also from North Minneapolis. I grew up in the projects, and I grew up poor, and I never really had any encounters or experiences, or was ever around anyone that was especially wealthy, or I was going to say experiences or interactions like that with wealth, okay? And I say that because on my first caregiving job, and it was for, a well-to-do woman in the suburbs, and one of the first things that I noticed was just, it was my first experience being so up close and personal with wealth, and I would intentionally observe, just how these people moved and how these people lived their lives and did things, just to kind of see, like, I will wonder, how does it feel to have gone your whole life mostly and never had to worry about money, right? And most of us, most Black people, at least that I know from where I'm from, are not in the same position as a lot of these well-to-do whites that I have come to meet. And, this is not a poor me type of video, right? But I'm just trying to give y'all some context, and hopefully you can stay with me with where I'm going with this, right? So anyways, I would notice simply what I would call, for lack of a better word, the ease of their daily existence. I mean, you have to have had a somewhat comfortable life in order to hire help to come into your home, and I'm thankful, and I'm sure there's plenty of people across the world that are thankful, even if we weren't born into money, we're thankful for people that are, and that we can go work for if we need to, right? I feel like Black women being domestic workers has been a thing for a long time, a little too long if you ask me, but it's not all bad. I mean, I understand how, whether it's fair or not fair, I understand how powerful and nurturing and, resilient we are, right? So we probably are, well suited in some cases, because we can and I say that because, not that we can't do whatever the fuck we want, right? I mean, there's rocket scientists that are Black women too, but I do feel like we could probably handle this type of a position better than some people. One time I heard Nikki Giovanni talking about how, you know, black women are just so magnificent. Like if we ever sent a delegation, something like this, I'm paraphrasing. If we ever sent a delegation, you know, to another planet, it would have to have some black women on it, because, you know, we're going to make sure that we take care of you. Now, okay, not going to go too far off. I'm trying to stay focused. Anyways, so I've always noticed this inherent ease that these people have in their lives, and I've always admired it. You know, I don't look at them like, you know, dang, why don't I got that? I look at it like I can have that too. You know what I'm saying? So recently, my client, who's been my client for almost 2 years now, who I grew to love dearly, she just made her transition. Okay, she just got up out her body, and they had her celebration of life at a country club, beautiful country club in the most affluent suburb here. Okay, and I had never been to a country club in my life. So I was quite excited just about that. And it was also a very beautiful function. I mean, oh my God. Wow. It was so pretty. What I want to say though is, as soon as I pulled into the lot, as soon as I turned in, not even to the lot, it ain't no lot, you know, it's acres, green, lush land, golf courses, it's a country club. As soon as I pulled in off the street, I felt how much motherfucking wealth was there. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt, it's like an exhale, you know, it's like a relief feeling, or something similar to that, right? So I could feel that shit soon as I pulled into the drive, right? And so, you know, I went, valeted my truck, and went in, had a beautiful time. Everyone looked so great. It was bright colors were encouraged, and it was really a beautiful affair. And later that night, last night, actually, I was having a conversation with a black man, right? Black man who I love. And, you know, we was talking about something, and he started telling me about something that happened in prison. And I was thinking about, and when he said that, I as we were talking and we were having this conversation, I started thinking about the drastic, gross difference between our lifestyles. And it's not a us versus them thing, but just to draw the contrast, you know, with how most white people, especially wealthy white people, live versus how most black people live. And most black people that I know and personally are not wealthy. I know that we're gaining overall in the country and in the world, but I'm just talking about me, right? I'm just not, that's how it is, right? So anyways, I started just thinking about that, right? And I started thinking like, how, like and so as he's talking to me, and I'm thinking about this in this context, and I'm thinking like, I bet everybody in that room was at least a multimillionaire. No, not just a millionaire. I'm sure everyone there was at least a multimillionaire. I'm sure there was probably a billionaire or a few in that room. And when I think about like a room full of us, like a room full of black folks, I don't know. I can't even imagine what everyone's net worth would be, but that wouldn't be my thought, my assumption, right? And so anyways, I say all this to say that, you know, sometimes when you hear people talking, especially like politically, right? Talking about how things like affirmative action, you know, DEI, there's almost this, maybe it's intentional or not, but there's this subtle implication that niggas is looking for a motherfucking handout, right? That some of them even will act like, so I've heard a lot of people, let me not say them, I've heard a lot of people say things like systemic racism doesn't exist. And regardless to which side of the aisle you lean towards, take politics the fuck out of it, okay? When you have when you have a group of people that have been able to build wealth for generations, unimpeded, with every advantage, for centuries, right? And then you have another group of people who have had a multitude of experiments, agendas, completely focused on our annihilation. And you have these two groups of people existing in the same space, in the same country. It's like, I just don't think that most white people, and maybe, most white people, because we know, black folks know because we're dealing with it. I don't think that most white people understand how different our lives actually are. Our lifestyles actually are. I don't think you can't expect someone who has not had this experience to fully appreciate it, right? But, you know, I think about things like Tulsa, what they did to us there, Jim Crow, redlining. I mean, you know, I think about, y'all might know this, I don't know if y'all do or not, I also have worked as a violence interrupter, and I might be going back to that. And anyways, it's become a very controversial thing here in Minneapolis, right? Land of George Floyd. For all intents and purposes, truthfully, it is a product of what they did to George Floyd, okay? When I see anonymous white folks making comments online about how fucked up it is that the city gave these niggas some money, basically, okay? And maybe not in those words, but basically that's what it is. They be so motherfucking mad. Y'all gotta see these comments. I mean, they're like, they have these groups, they have these Minnesota Crime Watch groups that I've stumbled upon. And, you know, you go in there and the comments, similar to like if you go on the comments on the racist New York Post, right? Which I do read. But I'm just saying, these white folks done lost their motherfucking mind in the comments, right? They have so much digital courage. But here in Minnesota, you know, I have a unique perspective because I grew up here, and I've experienced this firsthand. You know, I used to be very, very militant, if you didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And I've calmed down a lot. But I still notice my surroundings. I'm still observant. I'm not mad, right? I'm not upset. But I do think that some of these things should be explored a little bit, brought more out into the open. So I say all that to say that I am starting a new series where I'm going to be interviewing some of the great, amazing Black men that I know. Probably going to start with my brother Sam, who's coming home tomorrow. He's getting out of jail. He's getting out the workhouse tomorrow, and I'm going to be interviewing them, talking about some of their experiences in the penal system. And I'm very excited to bring that to you. I'm still going to do, you know, what I've been doing, talking about the power of your thoughts and the power of understanding that you create your own reality. And hey, maybe I'll be able to tie these two together at some point. Maybe not. But I'm very excited about it because I feel like it's a dialogue that might be enlightening for some folks. So I just wanted to share that. That's all I wanted to say in this video. It took me a long time. I had to go all the way around to get there, and I hope that it makes sense. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them here. I would love to see what y'all thoughts are, and I'll look forward to posting my first interview very soon. If y'all have any ideas for the questions that I should ask, that's what I'm working on now, coming up with the exact questions and the framework, you know, exactly what I want to ask him, exactly what I want to get out of the interview for the world. So I'm very much open to any suggestions about it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, night, morning. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please share it if you feel so inclined. And I will talk to y'all very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.